it.
1, 2, 3. Chicks
Chicks
here.
here.
Hey guys. Expedite Chicks here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Y'all don't know it's morning, but it is.
It is. We're just trying to soak up some sun and
Not sweat to death.
not sweat to death. Okay, so today we are going to talk about a question that I get regularly on the recruiting line. When do I qualify for HomeTime? Does Hyfield cover the mileage going home? If so, how much is covered?
How do I get there?
How do I get there, etc. So we're going to touch
How long
on
can I
all of
stay?
it in our quick window. We're going to touch on it as quickly as possible. So you and your teammate will qualify for HomeTime. Your lease agreement will state that you agree you will be running 75% of the month. So that's essentially 3 weeks out. And then you will qualify for HomeTime. Disclaimer, our more successful teams do have the ability to stay out longer. You've heard us say that time and time again. But the minimum is 75% of the month, and then you and your teammate will qualify to be able to go home.
For 7 days.
Correct.
As in the 30 days of the month. So basically, what we're saying is that you are eligible to go home every month in this gig. I'm going to say what Delina just said. I will qualify this. This is not going to make you money if you go home every month. If you need to be home every month, and I'm not trying to discourage anybody from this, but to be honest with you, if you have to be home once a month for 7 days, this is probably not
It's going to be tough.
the gig for you.
Not tough to get home, but financially, it's going to be tough.
And depending on where you live, it will be very tough to get home. Not going to lie. We have a lot of drivers that do live in very hard to get freight states, okay? Pacific Northwest. We have drivers that live there. It's not a place where freight runs. New Mexico, North Dakota, South Dakota, Idaho, even Arizona, Texas, Florida. Some of those are not the greatest places to get freight to. There are lanes that run there. They're just going to be a little far and few between. So if you live in one of those areas, your best bet's going to be prepared to stay out longer for sure than the once a month, because you will not get there every month. It's just the truth of it. Mm-hmm. But you are eligible to go home. If you are out for the 75% of the month, or let's say you're out for 6 weeks and you decide to go home, yes, Hyfield does cover 300 miles to get you to your home city from your last delivery, okay? If you do not stay out the 75% of the month, Hyfield does not pay for any of the miles to get home. Again, you are welcome to do what you do. You're independent contractors with us. However, you don't qualify for those free miles if you don't stay out the required amount by the lease agreement. So that's the basic answer there.
Yeah, at that point, she'd be charging you back that fuel.
That's correct.
So, but anyway, 300 miles, I mean, that's a pretty significant amount.
Yeah.
Another question I get is, what if I don't, how does it work if my last delivery is 400 miles from the house? Or how do I know I'm going to get a load that's going to get me close to home?
Well, and the quick answer for that is that on the Panther side, Panther, you put in a request for HomeTime and tell them where you need to get 7 days prior to you wanting to be there. And Panther does work, their dispatchers work with you to get you a load close to that area.
As close as possible.
As close as possible. On the FedEx side, however, because you're working off of a load board, it is you as the driver's responsibility to find loads that get you close enough to home. So, a little bit different the way that those carriers run, and you've heard us talk about the differences in the carriers and the way the dispatch system is before. So the responsibility is on you on the FedEx side, and Panther will assist you in getting there as long as you put your HomeTime in. And at Panther, they won't let you put a HomeTime request in if you haven't been out for a period of time.
Yeah.
So having said that, the carrier, Panther's going to try to help you. FedEx isn't going to help you, but FedEx, you have the visibility to see loads that can get you as close as you can. And then you have to try for those. Because on the FedEx side, again, loads are awarded. There's a lot of different rules on how those loads are awarded. So there's no guarantee you're going to get the ones you want, but you certainly are the master of your own destiny at the FedEx side, so to speak.
That is correct. If you do go over the 300 miles,
yes.
Let's just say it was 352 miles. What are you doing at that point?
So at that point, you'd be responsible for the 52 miles.
Is the discounted rate applied to that?
We do charge the fuel back at 10 miles per gallon on the average at the going rate of the national fuel price from the carrier's websites. So yes, you'd be billed back for that. So if you had an extra 150 miles, that's 15 gallons of fuel times whatever the going rate is, and that's what's going to be billed back to you. So it's pretty self-explanatory in that situation, and I will break it out to you, or Kayla on the Panther side, any overages, and give you exactly how that breakdown came before you see it on a settlement statement. How long? So like I said, when you're home for that, you get that 7 days home, and then you're expected to go out. One thing to remember, home time is not cumulative. So if you are a team and you say, but I haven't been home in 3 months, that's okay. That's what you're doing for your business, but you don't get to add up 7 days for the 3 months you didn't. It's it. Each month you have to be out 75% of the month. If you don't go home, the home time does not roll over to the next month.
And also remember, you are an independent contractor. You're not rolling, you're not making any money. So just kind of
that's true.
Keep those things.
Keep those
but
things
it is not cumulative.
Another thing to be aware of when you go home, it means you're going to have a gap. You're going to have a gap in loads that you didn't run during the time that you're home, which means when you do come back out, that gap's going to catch up with you, and you'll have a vacancy in pay when the loads that would normally pay that week would pay out to you. So all things to keep in mind when you're budgeting or when you're planning, or if you're worried about how the money's going to work and, how are you going to make it if you go home and don't get paid. But again, independent contractors, and if you don't, you only get paid for what you do. So
now the weeks are different over here. It's not a Monday to Friday week. So you make it work it out, or maybe you're just getting 2 smaller settlements during that home time versus missing a complete week. And those are just things you have to try it and talk to your mentors about, kind of see what they're doing with it and figure out what works best for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing to put out, because this is a question that might come up when you're calling in, you're asking about home time. What do I do with the truck? Well, the truck does need to be parked. It is a driver's responsibility to make sure the truck is parked in a safe and secure location, that you are able to check on the truck periodically. You want to make sure you're cranking it periodically so that you don't come back and your batteries are dead, and then you got to call maintenance and spend money to get the truck, back running again. Things like that. So those are all things to remember whenever you are taking home time. Trying to think if there's anything else.
There is one more thing. I do get this. It seems like it would be self-explanatory, but I do get it regularly. Your home time does not have to be at home. You can take your home time anywhere. That's your home time. So
that's
you want to take it in South Beach, you want to take it wherever.
You got family that lives in New York or somewhere like that, and you want to take your home time to visit them. As long as the truck is parked in a safe and secure location, you've worked the amount of time for the lease agreement that you need. Go spend some time with the family and take your time off there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. More questions?
So, if you have any questions about what we said, or don't understand something we said, or need us to clarify something we said, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Yep. Like and subscribe.
Give me a call. We'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
Check us out.